Hello, everybody. This is Michael Taylor and Adam Roseman of the global law firm Greenberg Traurig. Welcome to the next episode of the Workplace Safety Review podcast. I am the chair of the GT Osha practice group and am based out of our Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia offices. My colleague Adam is a member of the GT Osha practice group as well. He is the co-host, and he is based out of our Philadelphia office. To learn more about me, Adam, or our Osha practice group, please feel free to go to www.gtlaw.com, where you'll find the information you're looking for.
We are really lucky today to have with us Brad Giles. He is the principal of Bradley Giles and Associates, and he has more than 40 years of experience in the safety, health, environmental, and security disciplines. Brad joined the American Society of Safety Professionals, or ASSP, which is what we're going to be talking about today, in 1981, which I will concede was well before I was born. And in 2019, he returned to the ASSP Board of Directors after serving as a director at large from 2015 to 2018. In 2010, he was named the ASSP Fellow for significant contributions to the occupational safety and health profession, and he's received the ASSP President's Award twice. And he is currently ASSP's president and has been since last year. During his long tenure with the ASSP, he has served as the ASSP Foundation trustee. He's earned the foundation's Distinguished Service Award, and he is also a professional member of the Snake River chapter, as well as the construction and management practice specialties. He has served on several committees, including nominations and elections, governance, and the student task force. Outside of ASSP, Brad has served as president of the Board of Certified Safety Professionals. And before we start, I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that he played a significant role in recovery activities and developing safety and health plans for the recovery of workers in the wake of the September 11th attacks in New York City. And if I'm not mistaken, Brad is coming to us from the great state of Idaho, where he is an avid outdoorsman. So Brad, welcome so much to the Workplace Safety Review podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Adam, for the opportunity to talk to y'all.
So let's hop right into it. Let's inform our listeners, when and why was the American Society of Safety Professionals founded?
It goes back to 1911. You may remember or heard about it, but there was a large fire that killed almost 150 individuals. It was a 10-story building. It was mostly women and children. The doors were locked, or they were doors that opened inwards. They didn't have access to get help to them. So there's a big garment industry activity off of that. And that's kind of what generated the whole national outcry for taking a look at industrial safety aspects and how you protect employees. So that was really the genesis of it. So here we are 100 years later and what we've done. So we came a long way.
What would you say actually defines ASSP?
What defines it? It's our membership. I mean, that's really our greatest strength. It is our members. We have a very diverse group of people in a lot of different industries, a lot of different backgrounds that come in, and they join together through ASSP. We're the oldest safety organization. We have currently about 36,000 members. Majority of those are North America based, but we do have international folks that they're involved with the aspect of it. But I think the ability to network and share has been a lot of the benefit of the membership of the association. You know, we're geared towards professional development. That's really the main thing that we work towards. We do have advocacy programs. We have standards development, doing that part. But really what we're focused on is taking those individuals who are in the health and safety environment and making them better as leaders, as making an impact in the safety profession. And when you look at safety, to me, you have to take a look at it like at the large umbrella. It's not just the occupational safety. You'll have industrial hygiene, you'll have occupational medicine, you'll have health physics, fire protection, emergency preparedness. You have a lot of different aspects that are given to those people under that umbrella of safety professional. So I think it's a very large, diverse group of folks that come in. One of the key things I've tried to focus on is value of our profession. And I think the last 24 months has probably been the best demonstration of the value of safety professionals, in our career. The safety professionals have continued their day job, protecting the health and safety of the employees that they're responsible for. They've also had to develop protocols to protect those employees, their families, communities, during COVID, at the same time keeping the doors open for business. I can't imagine what our economy would have been like if the safety professionals hadn't worked out protocols to get the workforce, to keep them engaged over the last 24 months. So I think it's been incredible off of that. It has given the opportunity to raise the visibility of the safety profession, where they may have talked to their CEO or chief operations person once a quarter, once a month. The last 24 months, they've been talking on a daily or weekly basis. How do you ingrain that into it? So hopefully, as we move forward, the value that those individuals bring on continuity of operations and how you continue to be successful at your business, we'll continue to engage those folks.
You talked a little bit about if someone wants to join, what are some of the things that come with memberships? What sort of benefits?
Well, we provide a number of educational offerings, both podcasts, seminars, doing that part of it, as well as the face-to-face activities, which is probably one of the bigger aspects of it. But again, it goes back to that networking opportunity and working within communities. We have a variety of ways that folks can engage. Traditionally it started out as chapter-based, which were geographic, either in a city or a region of a state as you went through that. Well, travel difficulties and schedules, doesn't make it always the best way to engage. But by having the opportunity to have virtual engagements now, that's improved that a bunch. We have 18 practice specialties. So that is organizations, communities within ASSP that may deal with engineering, that may deal with risk management, that may deal with industrial hygiene. So you have a community there based on technical basis. And we also have a community base, called common interest groups. We have 4 of those. Our emerging professionals as our largest one. So that's early career folks coming into the business. Doesn't necessarily mean you're right out of college. It's just, if you have less than 5 years in business, we have a lot of second career folks coming in. So get them engaged. Women in safety is probably our next largest common interest group, and we also have one for Blacks in safety and Hispanics in safety. So it gives them a community of like-minded people to engage with. So a lot of different ways to perform your activities here. I think one of the biggest benefits that happen is each one of those, the chapters, the other communities, have leadership roles. As I encourage my early career folks, get involved, mainly, I encourage them ASSP, but really get involved in any type of volunteer activity. And whether it's our association or one of the other, in the health and safety world, get into that, because the opportunity for developing their leadership and management skills, goes a long way for them. It gives them an opportunity to develop those management skills, taking care of budgets, strategic planning, coordinating meetings, doing all that part. A lot of times way before they get that opportunity in their day job. I know a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues have given credit to the experience that they've gotten through ASSP to help them get that next job, to demonstrate to their employer or future employer the capabilities that they have, the business acumen that they have. And a lot of that gets developed, through the volunteer activities with an organization like ASSP. My recommendation is always raise your hand. There's always opportunities for you to get involved. And not only does it help to give back, whether it's to your university or society or whatever, but, to make that benefit, but it also makes you a better professional and a better employee. So when I tell people, the challenges you may have, from your supervision on taking on an additional role, we need to explain those other benefits to them. That's going to make them a better employer, a better manager, better leader for them.
That's great, Brad. This is Mike. Hey, how would you describe how ASSP has helped its members and improve workplace safety during the pandemic? And do you see a shift in the way ASSP is going to interact with its members going forward in the future?
Basically, you have two questions there. And I think the first one, we provided a number of resources, that were available for free, to all the members, and actually to any safety professional. They could come in on the website and access those. So we had not only documentation on plans and procedures that they should take a look at considering, but we did a number of podcasts. And those were up in way more than 100,000 interactions that went on. So we provided a lot of that service as we went to that. The networking opportunities, especially when you took a look at the practice specialties, when people worked in a common industry, if they might have been in manufacturing, might have been in construction, might have been in a different work environment, they were able to communicate back and forth what some of the best practices were. So it gave them a great platform to network with colleagues. And what we found out was, safety is not proprietary. And especially with something like the pandemic, sharing thoughts and processes, what worked or what didn't work, was one of the biggest values that could have happened. So I think not only, Mike, did we give them technical resources to help them do better and not have to recreate the wheel, but also to give them people to talk with. I think our past president, Deb Roy, her background was as an occupational nurse. She was exactly the right person, to be leading ASSP at the time we went through the pandemic. She's recognized as one of the most knowledgeable health and safety professionals related to communicable diseases. So having her lead our organization and provide, I don't know how many different webcasts and presentations she did over the last 2 years and continues to do to help our membership in the safety profession know how to handle the pandemic, what's coming up, as well as some best practices. So I think we were ideally suited to have Deb Roy help us out as we went through that. She was also referenced by Wall Street Journal when they wanted quotes, related to occupational safety and COVID. Deb Roy was the go-to person as he went through that. Now, how has that changed us, Mike? Before we were traditionally more face-to-face activities, our engagements, our professional development activities were face-to-face. And we had been looking at the time COVID came on about trying to expand our capability, have better ways to engage our folks. But that was more of a 2 to 3 year plan. So in 2020, when COVID came in hot and heavy, we had our professional development conference scheduled for June down in Orlando. COVID came in, hit pretty hard in March. April, we made a pivot from a face-to-face engagement to a virtual engagement, and we had, the staff did a great job of redirecting all that and putting together a very great conference for us virtually. We realized the benefits of that as we've gone through a couple of things. We do a professional development conference, and we do something called Safety Focus. Safety Focus is going on right now. It's being conducted out of Phoenix. This week was virtual and in person. Next week, be all virtual. What we saw last year in our Safety Focus activities was 70% of the attendees were new attendees to Safety Focus. We had a similar number for Austin in September when we did our PDC. We did an in-person and a virtual. So we had about 2,500 people attend in person and about 2,500 attend virtually. What we found is a number of our membership have budgets for education. They may not have a budget for travel. So we've opened this part up. So we've seen that increase in those operations. Like I said, 70% of the people at Safety Focus had never been there before because they didn't have travel budget. It's given us the ability to expand our reach. We do 2 major conferences a year internally, and that's the Future Safety Leaders Conference, which we invite and host student members, from about 100 plus universities to come in and participate for 3 days, on some development activities to get through there. This has given us the ability to more than double or almost triple the number of students that participate because the travel restrictions are gone. We do something called our leadership conference, which takes chapters and community leaders within society and helps them become, better management tools, in the society as well as, out, in their day job. And we more than doubled that number. That was typically about 250. We went almost to 550 last October. So I think it's given us a lot more ability to provide outreach and contact and engage our employees and bring those values to them that we haven't had in the past. I think that's one of the benefits that was driven by the COVID. 2 years ago, I couldn't tell you what Zoom was. And here it is. It's a daily activity, and I can't imagine how our economy could have survived without something like Zoom on how we're engaging with others and learning and doing all those different things. So we're not sitting idle.
Brett, let me switch gears real quick. I mean, OSHA obviously has national workplace safety standards that companies have to comply with, but ASSP is also involved in developing workplace safety standards. Can you explain the difference there and talk a little bit about ASSP's role in that?
Yeah, we're involved in the voluntary consensus standards. So that's pretty much taking what is viewed as best practices in industry, and trying to put those into a workable, concise way to share those. And we're able to do that internally. You utilize a lot of your subject matter experts to go through and address the problem, and they put together the consensus standards. Whereas OSHA has standards that may take 5, 10, 15 years to update. The majority of the things that are in the OSHA standards go back to 1971, haven't been updated. And as they've taken a look at a few different components within that, it's taken years and years and maybe never getting published, not getting the consensus that you need. So what we work on is voluntary. It's best practices. How do we help employers do better? And the thing about it is the small employer can utilize those. They've seen what the larger employers have done to get that, to develop it, and they get the benefit of that. So I think it helps everyone as we go through that. But it also lets you know that you're not the only one out there doing it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you see the benefits on utilizing those best practices, and standards to make your company better. What happens off of that? You protect your people better. You got less injuries. Your productivity is better. Your profitability is better. I mean, those things are all tied into it. So the better you can do to support your employees, get them engaged, and protect them from their health and safety hazards, it's going to make you a better, stronger business.
Interesting. Brad, one last question. What would you say are the main areas of focus for ASSP in 2022?
Well, 2022, a couple things is continuing our education offerings, as we go through that. How are we switching that up? Like I said, right now we're actively engaged with a number of individuals in Phoenix, doing face-to-face training, and we've got to continue to provide those things. And what's the new aspects of it, for them to go through. We have to continue to help companies because COVID's not over, the pandemic's not over. We've got to have them prepared, not only to finish up this one, but they got to be prepared for the next one. No matter what we think, something similar will rise its head, 2, 3, 5 years down the road. That's one of the things that my colleagues, said, man, we threw away our pandemic plan, after avian flu or some of the other things, and we had to recreate the wheel. Well, I mean, we want to have people get prepared and ready to go going forward. We've really been making an active push on our diversity, equity, inclusion. We developed a task force 2 years ago. We've had recommendations come in from them on how to do better to bring a more diverse group of folks into our industry. and give them opportunities. And I really think that's been happening. When you take a look 50 years ago, when OSHA came in, they took the people who were doing other jobs, or they took someone who was involved in as a craftsperson or a union representative, or someone who may have been a paramedic or a medic, and they were a safety professional. So it was all on more reactive. So you're treating the employees who are injured, not necessarily preventing injury. So we moved from that standpoint all the way through. And at that time, there were a very limited number of academic programs that could help you get ready. Now there's about 140 accredited academic programs out there to help provide that basis for individuals to come in. Developing the pipeline. It can't just be the academic backgrounds that's going to bring people in the safety profession. We need about 5,000 new safety professionals every year. Academic programs can only do maybe 30-40% of that. So we have to look at other avenues. The ones I think are the best for us to do is take our veterans. Our veterans come in. We owe it to them first for what they've done for our country, but we take them for protecting our country last year to protecting our employees this year. They have a lot of the innate skills that we want. They've been trained in leadership. They've been trained in communication. They know how to plan and execute. So that's a key component, I think, is bringing our veterans in. The problem is they and their counselors don't know safety profession is a viable option for them. So we're trying to educate them to get into it. But I think the veterans are a key place for us to be going. And it's also taking a look at the craft individuals, people who work every day out, turning the wrench as you get into it. I've explained to folks that they have the opportunity now to develop themselves, to step into that role. They don't have to leave their job. We have a number of accredited academic programs that are distance learning. Today, you can get your associates, your bachelor's, master's, and even a PhD virtually. So you're able to continue your job, support your family at home, develop an opportunity for a long-term rewarding career and safety and do that part. So I think the options that we have on that pipeline are pretty significant. So I think those are really the things that I think we're working on the most, Mike, and where we're looking to go.
This has been terrific, Brad. We really appreciate you being on the show and talking about all the benefits associated with being a part of ASSP. And thank you very, very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Happy to talk about it. It's a rewarding profession. As I tell people, you're not just making an impact on that individual employee, you're impacting their family and you're impacting generations. So if we can help that part of it, it's great. And the more we can do to make our practitioners better, the more people get, are benefit by it. But I appreciate the opportunity and very proud of this association that we have and what we're able to do to help out not only our members, but the economy.
Terrific. Stay tuned, everyone, for the next episode of the Workplace Safety Review podcast. Stay safe out there, America.